Hello friends, welcome to my channel. If you are new, my name is Sarzana and we are going to be wrapping up September. How did we get here? How is it already October? This year has gone by so fast. I don't know about you guys, but for me, it's been flying by. In the month of September, I did read like 12 books. I DNF'd one, so I guess 13. It was an okay month. It wasn't bad. I discovered sports romance and it has changed my DNA. It has changed my brain cells. I don't even know how to put this into words, but I see what the hype is about with sports romances. We're gonna get to it. Let me not keep you guys in suspense, okay? So we're gonna get started with the book that I did DNF, and before I show you guys what it is, I just need to say, don't come for me, because this was an anticipated read and I've heard so many good things about this author. If you guys watched my previous reading vlog, then you know which book I DNF'd. So the book I DNF'd is The Familiar by Leigh Bardugo. I wanted to love this book so badly. I have never read a Leigh Bardugo book and I really wanted to start. I know the Shadow and Bone series. I watched the series on Netflix and I was like, hey, this is really good. Let me read the books. But I just never got around to it. And when I saw this at Barnes, I was like, let me get it. And like the spray edges are black. It's a black cover and it like looks eerie. There's like a hand with like a Scorpio and like the gold. And it just like did it all for me. Like, look at this. Like, it's just super creepy looking, and yeah, I can't even tell you what it's about. I just remember that it's about some girl that was like sort of like a servant or something like that, and she has some kind of powers. The people who she was working for, the woman, she wanted to take advantage of her powers or something like that, and yeah, I don't know. I just was so bored. I just DNF'd it. If you guys really like this book, like, tell me something about it that is going to make me want to pick it up, please, because I was listening to the audiobook and I was also trying to read it and like do immersive reading. Still couldn't get into it. So if you guys have anything that you can tell me about this book that will make me want to read it, please put it in the comments below. And then I finished the Stalking Jack the Ripper series by Carrie Maniscalco. This is Capturing the Devil. This is the fourth book in the Stalking Jack the Ripper series, and it was the absolute perfect ending to this series. Audrey Rose is my girl. I love her so much. She has my heart. Thomas Cresswell is also my favorite. If you guys haven't picked this series up, please do. It is like the perfect fall read and you will not regret it. I think I gave this 5 stars. Let me check my Fable, because I've been using Fable instead of using Goodreads and it's such a better UI, you guys. I gave this 5 stars and it was just so good. What did I say about it? I don't even remember. I didn't say anything about it. I can't even tell you guys what this book is about without spoiling the prior books. And since this is the 4th one in the series, I'm just gonna tell you that there is murder mystery. It is a historical romance. It's like a cozy, dark YA vibes. The couple that we have in this book is Audrey Rose and Thomas Cresswell, and you guys get to see their journey from the beginning to the end, from Stalking Jack the Ripper to Capturing the Devil, and they have just been on a journey from book 1 to book 4. I have absolutely loved watching them grow, seeing how they become the people they are in this book. It's just everything. I love this series so much, and this is one of those series that you know you're going to like reread. So yeah. And you guys know that I can't go a month without reading a Brandon Sanderson book. So this month I picked up Tress of the Emerald Sea, and this is a part of the Stormlight Archives world, if you will. It's not necessarily a part of the series, but it is in the same world, and we hear like a name or two or a few things in here that we have heard in the Stormlight Archive series so far. This book is about Tress, and she is on like a journey to save somebody that she really cares about. In this journey, it's like Pirates of the Caribbean, if you will. She is on like this ship. There is magic, there is intrigue, there's like sea monsters. I guess it's a sea monster, right? No, like witches. It's very unique how Brandon Sanderson does magic in like every one of his series, and I absolutely adored Tress and her journey. This is probably an unpopular opinion, I'm sure, but I gave this 3 stars because I was kind of bored throughout a lot of it, and it was screaming YA to me. It wasn't necessarily like the high fantasy vibes that I had wanted, but it was also like whimsical and like magical, if you will. So it was like a nice cozy read, but at the same time, I don't know what is about this book, but I was like super bored throughout it. It's a solid 3 stars. I have no regrets about reading it, and if you're looking for something magical and whimsical and cozy, this is definitely the book to read in the fall. But yeah, that's kind of it. And then I finished the Lady of Darkness series. So this month I read the rest of the books in this series. So we have, I can't hold this, hold on. So the 3rd book is Lady of Ashes. Then we have Lady of Embers, and then we have like this cute little novella, and it's titled The Reaper. And if you are into this series and you have skipped this book, shame on you. You need to go pick this up and read it. This is also in KU, so you can pick this up in Kindle Unlimited as well. And then the last book in the series is Lady of Starfire, and you guys, this series has become one of my all-time favorite books ever. Like, this series is one of my favorite series now. I absolutely love Scarlet, and I'm gonna put this down now because it's really heavy. But I absolutely love Scarlet, and I love Soren. The magic system in this is like any of the other romantasy fantasies that you would imagine. And honestly, the similarities between Throne of Glass and this series is very similar, but it is also different to the point where it becomes its own series. We have Scarlet, and she has magical powers that are basically like some kind of fire, if you will, and it is also like darkness. Throughout her journey through each of these books, she learns a little bit more about herself, and it is never boring. Like, it's either like Scarlet and her friends bantering over different things, or it's of her and Soren having like spicy scenes, or like there's battle scenes, and honestly, you get a little snippet of every single character. It made me feel so much closer to the characters because of the diversity in each of these chapters, giving us a different POV for each of these characters. And the Reaper, I can't tell you how hard I cried reading some of those pages, because he didn't deserve it. I'm not going to tell you guys who it's about. If you read the series, then you'll know. But oh my goodness, I'm about to tear up again. This series is so near and dear to my heart right now. I can't even tell you how much I loved it. Let me tell you the ratings because I'm getting emotional and you guys need to know the ratings, right? Okay, so Lady of Ashes I gave 4 stars too. And then Lady of Ember, The Reaper, and Lady of Starfire, they all got 5 stars from me because it just got so good towards the end. I don't know what to do with myself now. I know that Melissa K. Rorick has another series in this world, however, it's not completed. And the way I binged this series, it has altered something in me. September was like a life-altering month for me, and I can't tell you guys how sad I am to have completed this series, because I just don't know what to do with myself right now. If I start the next series in this world, the Legacy series by Melissa K. Rorick, I don't know. Like, I don't know what I'm going to do because I can't read one or two of those books and wait like a year for the next book. I just can't do it. My heart can't take it. We're gonna talk about the thrillers that I read in September, and there were quite a few. I am going to put the picture up here because I don't have the physical copies for any of these, because I honestly like stopped buying copies of thrillers because I am so often disappointed by them, so I literally just stopped buying them. So the first thriller that I read is Never Lie by Frida McFadden. Frida McFadden is one of my favorite thriller authors, and this book did not disappoint. I believe I read Never Lie in a prior vlog, so I'll link that up here somewhere. This book was so good. It was dark, it was eerie, it was mysterious, it had a twist at the end that I did not see coming. Some of you may have. I am not the best at guessing what is going to happen in the end and being accurate about it. This book did not disappoint me. I absolutely ate it up. I think I read this in one sitting. Like, Frida McFadden books you can read in one sitting. This book is about a newlywed, Trisha and Ethan. They are looking around to buy a house. There's like a snowstorm happening and they happen to be on their way to go see this beautiful, I think, Victorian home, and we love Victorian homes. While they are going to go see this house, their car, I think, gets stuck. They can still see the house. They see how a light is on like the second floor. Ethan and Trisha are kind of like, why is the second story light on? They go trudge up to the house. They look inside, or I don't know if the door is open or like they like break in or something like that. However, they get inside the house. It's like super dusty, completely furnished. There is a big ass picture of the previous homeowner who is supposedly deceased. They get stuck there and so many things happen, and I'm going to leave you with that. I hope that's enough because I went to it completely blank. I feel like reading Frida McFadden books or any thriller book just completely blindly is the way to do it, and it was so good. I loved it. On like a Frida McFadden kick. So then I picked up The Devil Wears Scrubs. I should have DNF'd this book. I really should have. I had originally thought about giving it 1 star, but then I was like, I finished it, so I should at least give it 3 stars, right? And I did. But then I went back and I gave it 2 stars because 1, I finished it. 2, it's by my favorite author. The writing was not bad by any means. It was not bad. It was very immersive and it was a very realistic setting. It's basically about this girl, what's her name? Jane. And she is a medical intern for this hospital, and it is basically like Grey's Anatomy. If you are a Grey's Anatomy fan like myself, then you will probably be able to finish this book. However, the plot of it was like, there was no plot. Like, what are we doing here? Are we just reading about her journey as a medical intern and what she has to deal with on a daily basis? Like, I did not like it. I did not enjoy it at all, but I kept reading it because I wanted to see what would happen. Like, if there was some crazy thing that happens towards the end. And I should have known better because usually with Frida McFadden, or most thrillers, like, you have a chapter or 2 of like some normalcy and then some shit happens and that sets us up for like the plot. But nothing happened in this book and it was so bad. Oh my gosh, it was so awful. I hated the plot. But again, just because it wasn't for me does not mean it's not for you. So if you are into Grey's Anatomy and you're just looking for like a mindless read, then this might be it. But yeah, on the Frida McFadden train, I read Do Not Disturb and I gave it 3 stars. It was not bad. This was like a psychological thriller. The story follows a woman named Quinn, and she does something in like the very first page of the book that like gets you hooked and you're like, oh crap, what happened? And she like commits a crime basically, and because of this crime she is running for her life, and the things that happen after that is super crazy. And we don't only follow Quinn's POV, but we also follow another character in this book, and the twists are twisting. The way the story goes, you get shoved from one POV to the other. It's like a nice symmetry of each of those POVs, and it sets the story up really nicely. However, the way the story ended, it kind of pissed me off, and I just thought it was very cliche and very, I don't know what the word is. It just like felt very unoriginal, I guess. Is that the right word to use? I don't know. I don't have a word for it right now because my mind is just like thinking about how disappointed I was in the ending. However, the storyline, the plot, the writing, the eerie dark vibes, the mystery aspect of it, it was all there. So I did give this a 3-star. It was not bad by any means, but it wasn't the best of Frida McFadden books. It wasn't one of my favorites. And then I read The Locked Door by Frida McFadden. It was pretty fast paced and there was a lot of intrigue, there was a lot of mystery, and it makes you connect with the character right from the beginning, and you just follow her in her journey of trying to figure out what the hell is going on. Because, okay, so let me set the scene. This story is about Nora. She is the daughter of a serial killer, and this serial killer had a MO, if you will, of how he killed his victims. So Nora is a surgeon, and the people that are coming to see her that she's doing surgeries on or she's just doing consultations with, they're ending up dead. And the MO is the same as it was when her father was killing. She is feeling like she's going insane and she's trying to figure out what is going on. The police are questioning her because they think it's her because they, you know, like DNA of serial killers or something like that. So she is feeling like she's like losing her mind. She is finding evidence in her home and she's trying to hide it from the police because she is terrified that it is going to make her look like she's the killer. And it's just really good. The ending of it was also really good, but it also kind of felt a little bit unoriginal, but because of how suspenseful it was and the back and forth that we saw, I had a really good time. It was really good. And then I read The Coworker by Frida McFadden. I gave this a 3.5 stars. It is a mystery between coworkers. There is a woman, her name is Dawn Chef, and she is like a total nerd. She wears like baggy clothes, her hair is chopped up unattractively, and it is also about Natalie, and she is beautiful, long blonde hair. She dresses to the nines. She is always wearing heels. She is in sales versus Dawn being in accounting. Dawn wants to be friends with Natalie. Natalie thinks she's a weirdo, so she's kind of like a bully to her. And then one day Dawn stops coming into the office and Natalie's kind of like, okay, what's going on with Dawn? She said that she had something really important to talk to me about and she just doesn't show up. Like, what's going on with that? So Natalie goes to her house to investigate. She finds like a crime scene there, no body, and you can imagine the mystery that goes into that. Very fast paced, and the ending had me pretty surprised. However, I also thought the purpose or the plot, I guess, of the reasoning for the mystery was really silly. So yeah, that's why I gave it 3.5 stars. It was good, but you know, like I wouldn't reread it, and this is exactly why I don't buy thriller books, because it always ends up being like, Okay, we are going to end this video on a high note by going over Mile High. I read Mile High for the first time last month by Liz Tomford, and this is my first hockey romance, and oh my goodness, what the hell have I been waiting for? I can't believe it took me this long to start this book. I've heard really good things about it, and I always thought the cover was super gorgeous. And you guys, I love this cover so much. This story, oh, this book has my heart. Okay, let me tell you what it's about. I gave it 5 stars, by the way. This book is about Xanders and Stevie. How cute is their names? And Xander is a Chicago hockey player and Stevie is his flight attendant, if you will. So basically there is a group of flight attendants that are strictly working with these hockey players. So every time they have a game and they're flying, Stevie and her team are the flight attendants. And so Xander sees her all the time. The start of their relationship is very rocky. He is very cocky and like asking her to like do things for him, and he thinks that because he is this big shot hockey player, he will get his way. They are very sexually comfortable with themselves, if you will, in a way. It's like very like Tinder heavy kind of thing. And because Xander is Xander, he has no problems pulling girls. And Stevie, she likes to go for the guys that are attractive but not like super attractive. She like finds like mid guys. Stevie is also on like the thicker side, so we get a little bit of diversity as in body shape, and she like fluctuates weight a lot, and I felt like I could relate to her so much because as a mom and in my 30s, I have been fluctuating in my weight, and it's been really hard to like go back to like my 20-year-old body. And even before, back in when I was in my 20s, I always found it very difficult. Like every time I would eat something, my weight would just fluctuate, and it just freaking sucks because as women, we want to feel attractive and beautiful in our bodies, and sometimes we just don't. And there's some days I would just rather throw on like something super baggy or whatever because I'm bloated, I don't feel good, I just don't feel like I look great, you know? And I just like felt so seen when I read this book. And Xander, the way he loves Stevie, oh my god, fictional men are just amazing. Like if we could have more men like these fictional men, life would be such a better place. He is so good to her. He takes care of her. He worships her. He makes her feel seen, not just on the inside but also on the outside. Fate, if you will, is always putting them in the same room, magnets just being pulled to one another. Their relationship is so beautiful. It is so heartwarming, and we get to see how their relationship evolves under the NHL's eyes and what happens when someone famous falls in love with someone ordinary, if you will. And there's just a lot that happens, and it shows us a little bit about how it is for someone that is a celebrity, what it is for them to be under the public eye, how tabloids and media can create rumors about relationships, about these individuals and what they kind of go through, how they have to handle it. So it was just like really fun to read. But there was also some really heavy topics that were discussed in here that I think is very important, and I just hold this book so dear to my heart. I can't wait to read the rest of this series. I just love these characters, and I can't wait to read about the other characters that the other books are about. And that concludes our video for today. But I had such a good time reading all the books that I read last month. Some of them were the best of the best, some of them were just not, and maybe that's what it was. Maybe because I was reading some books that were like highly impactful for me emotionally, some of the other books that I was reading just did not connect with me the way I had wanted to, and maybe that's why I just didn't connect with them the way I had wanted to last month. But that's okay. I had an amazing month. I read 13 books. I DNF'd one. I loved so many. I felt okay about some, and that was totally fine. I hope you all had a wonderful month last month reading, and I hope you are having a wonderful fall reading all of the books that you are reading this month. And I want to thank you all so much for making time to watch this video, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye.